Okay, guys, we got a weekend of astrology to talk about. There are some big time, very significant aspects playing out over the course of this weekend, and we are likely to be at kind of a different place and a different perspective and a different sense of reality by the time that we get to Monday. We have Jupiter and Neptune finally coming into exact conjunction this weekend. They are also forming a trine to the South Node in Scorpio on Saturday. This is going to be a grand trine in water signs because the moon will also move to the same degree of Cancer. This is huge. And simultaneously, the sun is also going to be at the ERIS point. We are busting out of, destroying any illusions, liberating ourselves from any illusions or false narratives from the past that may have been holding us back from aligning with our authenticity or our truth in one way or another. Big time energy going on this weekend, you guys. Lots to talk about. Let's jump into the report and see how this is playing out. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Friday, April 8th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the weekend. I'm going to be talking today about the energy we have going on presently on Friday, tomorrow on Saturday, on Sunday as well. Going to be getting into some of that, see what's coming at us over the course of this entire weekend, how things are unfolding and playing out in terms of our galactic blueprint and operation mode. And yeah, big business going on again this weekend. We just started this new moon and Aries cycle. We just began our astrological reset. We've started moving in this 2022 energetic astrological energy vibrations now, and it really has started off with a bang. We came right in on this with a Mars-Saturn conjunction that was square the nodes of the moon. We had Mercury at the ERIS point the other day, and now we have Jupiter and Neptune finally coming to the exact same degree in the sky. And for this moment in time, as soon as they come together, tomorrow on Saturday, we're going to be having this grand water trine, which is huge. The sun moving to the ERIS point. Things are moving, you guys. Things are shifting. Paradigms are changing. Narratives are being shattered. Illusions are crumbling around us. Cognitive dissonance, projection, a desire to escape reality, but also a very, very strong urge and calling to connect with spirit and to gain this higher spiritual awareness. This is all being encapsulated in this energy. Okay, so let's start with Friday before I just get carried away on some weird long tangent that takes us 15 minutes into the future before I've even said what I meant to say about the day. So on Friday, we have our big primary aspect energetic of not only today, not only this past few weeks as it's been building, but also this entire year. This is a major energetic fundamental of our 2022 energy. Jupiter is moving to 24 degrees of Pisces today. Now, mind you, guys, I'm reading the Sabian symbols when I'm looking at my astrology, so I'm always rounding up a degree. Actually, Jupiter is moving technically to 23 degrees, but because I read the Sabian symbols, I'm always rounding up a degree because we're looking at the energy that's pulling in, that's beginning to manifest, to discharge, and not so much the energy that is waning out and beginning to dissipate. So technically 23 degrees Jupiter is moving to today, but in my report, in my narrative of this business that we have going on in the sky, I'm going to be referencing it as 24 degrees because I'm reading the Sabians. Anyways, and I'll get into the Sabians in a little bit, but Jupiter and Neptune together in the sign of Pisces, this is a pretty rare configuration. It's not that Jupiter and Neptune is rare. That happens about every 12 years or so, but just the fact that it's happening in the sign of Pisces, which is ruled by both of these planets, gives it an extra significant. Jupiter was the original ancient ruler of Pisces, Neptune being the modern ruler of Pisces. So both rulers of Pisces, any way you slice it, at the same degree in the sign of Pisces. This is just really huge, really profound. This energy is actually going to be carrying through the next 12 years. We're going to be sort of operating under these influences, and Jupiter and Neptune together in the sign of Pisces can go. We're talking about Pisces, and when we're talking about Pisces, we often are talking about a duality in things. Remember, this sign, this glyph is actually two fish swimming in different directions, and there's usually two very distinct ways that energy can operate, energy can manifest when we're dealing with the Pisces archetype, the Pisces frequency, the Pisces energy. Now, on one hand, Jupiter and Neptune together. Neptune and Pisces, this is all like very, very highly spiritually connected energy. This, on one hand, can just have us having this intense, enhanced ability and desire and calling to connect to spirit, to discover the spiritual truths of this reality, to merge ourselves with our spiritual connection and really begin operating and, running our lives more so, perceiving reality through a much more spiritual lens. Jupiter and Neptune together, this is going to represent a spiritual renaissance and a spiritual awakening collectively, as a large portion of the human collective is really just called by their soul to rediscover their spiritual connection and begin to merge with and embody that and, navigate their lives in a way that is incorporating that energy into everything, every facet, every feature. Very much spiritual awakening energy. On the other hand, Pisces energy can cause us to engage in forms of escapism, want to avoid reality, not want to face difficulties, want to sort of hide from things and stick our head in the sand and merge back into all that is and not engage with the growth that universe may be trying to call us on at this point in time, or generally any point in time. With Jupiter and Neptune together in the sign of Pisces, we really want to be sure that we are not engaging in forms of escapism in the way that we are responding to or dealing with the situations that are presented at this point in time. These two sort of very distinct features. On one hand, we are sort of merging with the divine in a higher way that helps us to navigate our difficulties better. And on the other hand, we are sort of not wanting to face them, not wanting to encounter or experience them, wanting to very much so hide from them, run away from them, and engage in various forms of substances or escapism that are a way of avoiding the more difficult features of the path that may be presenting to us, hiding from our growth instead of embracing it through a more spiritual connection. Can kind of go both ways. But either way, these two aspects of this energy are probably going to become quite present and apparent now, especially that this aspect is exact, but also over the next 12 years. These are things that we're going to be they're just woven into the way that things are unfolding right now. So in terms of today, with this energy coming, and also again, this energy is going to be carrying on very strong this entire year. Soul searching today and seeking spiritual guidance for comfort and healing, very much so. We also have the moon moving into Cancer on Friday, setting up, moving towards this grand trine in water that's going to be happening on Saturday. The moon in Cancer wants us to really feel safe and secure and comforted and nurtured emotionally. And with these two planets coming together today, while the moon is in the sign of Cancer, we could definitely be seeking that higher spiritual connection, that higher spiritual understanding as a way to sort of make us to gain that sense of safety and security and comfort and fulfillment inside of us. Again, there is just this very strong spiritual calling for a connection and an ability to interact with spirit and receive spiritual guidance and spiritual awakening going on in this energy. Also, we are more so compelled to turn inwards instead of turning outwards in this energy and as it progresses, because it's almost like the outer world is just not meeting our needs anymore. It's not giving us what we need. It's not giving us the comfort or the understanding or the emotional peace that we're seeking after. So this is likely to spark a desire again or calling to sort of retreat inwards and align with a higher purpose or a higher calling or a higher connection that can nurture us and fill us up in a way that the external world just isn't doing for us at this point in time. Again, there's this energy of these illusions cracking, this narrative breaking down, the false matrix around us crumbling. And in that process, we're really looking for the truth. We're looking for something that can really sort of feed our soul and our spirit and help bring us back to life in some type of a way, make us feel alive again and connected to ourselves and connected to our purpose and connected to the truths of this reality, as we're discovering a lot of what we thought was the truth of this reality was actually just an illusion that we're beginning to see through now. So we're seeking the higher answers. We're seeking what is really going on. Now, it also is having us to some extent, stepping out of the ego and really stepping into a much more compassionate heart-based, high heart-based, like empathetic energy. Neptune in Pisces, this is, you know, with that higher spiritual connection also comes this unconditional love frequency, like the highest octaves of the heart energy, and this compassion and this empathy. And with Jupiter there, this is also being supersized and like a desire to help and a desire to serve. So these are like just much less ego-based energy is going to be likely to be exhibited as this energy activates today, truly, now that they're at the same degree, and really begins to unfold throughout this year. And again, it's going to be something that's going on that's like an undercurrent throughout the next 12 years. Now, the flip side of this energy, like I said, dissociation, escaping reality, overindulging, especially like today, this weekend with the moon in Cancer as well, and alcohol. That is something you're going to want to watch out for. This is not where we want to like hide from our troubles like in the bottle or in alcohol or anything like that. If we are feeling empty inside, it's because, you know, our soul is really truly calling us to seek that higher, greater connection that can give us this higher purpose and the motivation and the healing that we need at this point in time. Healing is also a big theme of the energy that is coming in on on today, Friday, because the moon in Cancer is also going to be forming a square to Chiron in Aries. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But another thing that we want to watch out for in this energy is being careful with investments or like impulse purchases, impulse buys, like being sold on something, because in this energy, it can be very deceptive. It can be very sort of like manipulative, and we can be seeing things very idealized version or through rose-colored glasses, or sort of like living in a fantasy based on a narrative about something, which is also breaking down in this energy. You know, it really goes both ways, but that is another thing that we want to watch out for, especially when it comes to like money and finances right now with Venus there as well. We want to be really careful where we're putting our money right now, what we're investing in, you know, what purchases we're making, because we may not be making them from a place of like a true like logical understanding of what we're involving ourselves with. Also in this energy. Also, you know, be careful about manipulation in relationships at this point as well. A lot of people right now are sort of going through a process of getting out of and healing from dysfunctional relationships or relationships that have been holding them back or not benefiting them in some way. And a flip side of this energy too is, you know, being in that state, we want to make sure that we are prioritizing our healing first this year, especially considering this astrological year was in a conjunction to Chiron, all about a healing hero's journey this year. We really want to be careful that we're not sort of idealizing an individual or a possible relationship at this point in time, sort of being in a fantasy land about something like that, with Venus also being in Pisces right now as these two planets come into the conjunction, because Venus, Neptune and Jupiter together in the sign of Pisces, this can be also casting some like real illusions or projections in terms of relationships that we're getting in or forming right now. So just something to be careful about. If you've been through something like that, focusing on the healing and staying in alignment with the healing that needs to go on right now is better than, you know, getting into what perhaps looks like a really beautiful, fantastic, like spiritually guided relationship, but may actually be some type of an illusion in some type of a way. I just, you know, something to say about that as well. And also, yeah, just we don't want to fall for the illusions or the fantasies that something like is okay when it's not right now. That's another aspect of this energy, sort of like pretending that everything is fine when we know that it's not, but sort of creating some type of a fantasy or an illusion that it is, so that we don't have to face the difficulties. Again, this Pisces energy likes to hide and run away from things of, you know, what we would need to do to like face that situation head on and resolve it or heal it in some type of a way. So these are just some of the general things that I want to say about this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction that we have going on now, ongoing, and also today. Also today, though, well, actually, let's talk about the degree where this is happening first. 24 degrees, well, 23 degrees something minutes, but technically for the Sabian symbol interpretation, I'm reading 24 degrees of Pisces. This Sabian symbol is an inhabited island, and with Jupiter and Neptune coming together at this specific degree, I really feel like this is telling us again that everything that we need to fill ourselves up right now essentially is within us. And again, we shouldn't necessarily be seeking these external relationships at this point in time, just with all of this potential for illusory, manipulative, not seeing the full truth of things in terms of relationship dynamic energy. At this point in time, the relationship that we are supposed to be cultivating, you guys, right now, as I have mentioned several times, is our relationship to our higher self, is our relationship to God and universe and spirit and the divine and the spiritual world and the spiritual laws and principles that this reality is essentially comprised of. That is what we want to be developing our relationship to at this point in time. And with this degree, an inhabited island, I feel like, an inhabited island, this is an inhabited island, has all the resources it needs within it to sustain this population. If it didn't, it wouldn't be inhabited. The life wouldn't be able to grow and thrive there. But it is, because this is talking about an inhabited island. It doesn't need like the external world in order for it to sustain itself. And I feel like with Jupiter and Neptune at this degree, this is definitely telling us that this is an important concept right now in terms of our, like, what is fueling us, what is powering us, and what is where our resources are coming from and the way that we're navigating right now. Like, we really need to be tapping into the resources that we have within us, and the unique potential, the authentic potential that we came into this experience with, our own unique gifts and talents and abilities, and combine that with our connection to spirit and the divine and our higher self, and find and unlock our soul's purpose, and then really tap these resources and use them to be able to fuel or sustain our lives, our experiences, our circumstances in some type of a way without having to be so reliant on the thoughts, the beliefs, the opinions, or the assistance and help of others. Not that we shouldn't accept assistance and help when we need to, being receptive, this divine feminine energy is very important as well, but we shouldn't be reliant. We need, especially also with the North Node in Taurus right now, this is a very important lesson universe is trying to teach us right now, is that we really need to become more self-reliant and self-sustaining this year as we're moving through this energy, and as a lot of the old world things are breaking down, crumbling around us as we're entering this new paradigm, this new age of Aquarius, and things are really shifting and changing for the overall collective of humanity. It's really important for us to really become our own self-sustaining units, our own inhabited island in one way or another. Obviously not completely, there's no way that we can become just totally self-reliant, but just in small ways. And if we do that, tapping this creative, aligning with our authentic truth, tapping into our own creative, authentic personal self-expression and potential and talents and abilities, figuring out a way that we can do something of service with them that benefits the greater good, and somehow, and as a result of that, we can receive an equal measure of what we're contributing that can help us sustain ourselves and our experience in one way or the other. This is, sort of what we're being called to in this energy. And it makes sense in the fact that we're heading into the age of Aquarius, which is very much so about these same themes, while simultaneously a lot of the things from the old ways of being and old ways of doing are breaking down and are not going to be such a major feature of our lives going forward anymore. So the inhabited island degree, I feel like it actually makes a lot of sense that this is where this specific alignment is happening this time around. Another thing that we have playing out today that we have going on is, like I said, there is the moon in Cancer forming a square to Chiron, and also going to be moving into a square with the sun. So there may be some type of healing crisis that is coming up today in the midst of this energy, or some type of wounding that is actually pushing us towards this soul searching, or this spiritual truth that we're coming to, or this spiritual connection, this truth that we're seeking, or the spiritual connection or higher power that we are wanting to just gain a better understanding of or relationship to at this point in time. This could also be bringing up some type of an emotional pain or wounding, with the moon ruling our emotions, being in Cancer, this very sensitive sign, also very emotion based, and forming this square. It's just because it's a square aspect. Squares a lot of time bring friction, tension, conflict, inner conflict, especially going on between Chiron and the moon. Also, as I said, the moon building into the square with the sun. This is also bringing probably an element of like inner conflict or inner tension that is going on between, you know, what we need to feel safe and secure, the moon in Cancer, and the actions that we really want to take right now to move forward in some type of a way. We also have Mars today at 26 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a garage man testing a car's battery with a hydrometer. So I feel like this energy, the sun in Aries ruled by Mars, you know, coming into the square, or the moon coming into the square with the sun today, also Chiron, we may be like questioning, like, do we have the energy? Do we have the capacity to move forward? We may be feeling like our energy is being tested, or our motivation is being tested, or our capacity or our willpower is being tested right now in this energy. And again, it may be triggering some wounds, some inner child wounds, some traumas, or just some like emotional pain that we may be experiencing for one reason or another. But again, this happening simultaneous to Jupiter and Neptune coming into that exact alignment today, I do feel like any of this that is surfacing is really, well, causing us to either want to escape and like overindulge in some type of substance as a way of avoiding reality, which is not what we should do, or to really seek out these spiritual truths, these higher connections, to really get to the bottom of it and really like gain some type of comfort and security that comes from this higher level of knowledge that we are, or this higher level of understanding or connection that we are experiencing. And I can tell you from personal experience, there really is nothing more comforting than, like, especially in times of trouble and despair and desperation, than coming into alignment with the divine and having that awakening, and, you know, being able to trust and surrender and know that everything is going to carry you forward in the best direction for your highest growth. And that is sort of, you know, what we're being called for, to really uncover some of these spiritual truths, unlock some of these spiritual dimensions that maybe we haven't perceived before, and to gain that sense of inner comfort and security from that. So that's really sort of what we have playing out in the energy on Friday. Again, this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is also in an exact trine to the South Node in the sign of Scorpio. So whatever is transpiring, whatever wounding is coming up, whatever like awakening or spiritual truths that we're being called to at this point in time, and hopefully that we are not avoiding and evading so that we can run and escape and hide in some place that is actually keeping us attached to our past cycles, as this energy is trying to facilitate an opportunity for us to be released from any toxic cycles of the past that may have been keeping us out of our full capacity, our full potential, and what universe is calling us to right now, which is this great, like, enhanced sense of self-empowerment and self-sustainability and ability to be like resourceful. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. So this is really what we got playing out on Friday. I want to talk about the Sabian symbols for just a second. The Sabian symbols are all about revelations, awakening, dispelling the illusion, karma, polarities, and secrets revealed. And that is also what this energy is bringing to us. We have the sun coming to 19 degrees of Aries on Friday. That Sabian symbol is the magic carpet of Oriental imagery. So Jupiter and Neptune together, this is like the heights of like magic and like that type of vibe, like anything is possible, like miracles and unlimited possibilities and all the magical things, the magic carpet of Oriental imagery, the position of the sun. I feel like this is like seeing things from an elevated perspective that infuses the magic back into the reality. And that is another aspect of this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, and also of what this like spiritual awakening can do for us. That's what that does, is it brings the magic back to the world, back to our lives. And that vibrational shift in and of itself attracts that magic and opens it up and makes it real for us by the spiritual laws of this dimensional reality. So we're seeing things from a higher perspective, a magic carpet ride, a bird's eye view. And I feel like it is instilling or reconnecting or bringing back to life some element of magic within us, or just in our experience in this energy, I guess, today. Interesting also, we have the Earth today, you guys, at 19 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is a gang of robbers in hiding. And with Mercury at the Aries point, the basketball, I keep feeling like there is about to be some type of like big time like corruption or something that gets exposed, or that gets like some type of justice coming in some capacity for some type of crimes that have been committed like in the past on some type of either in our personal lives or on some type of like collective world stage. And a gang of robbers in hiding, like the position of the earth today, I feel like this is sort of again like referencing that. And the fact that we have Jupiter and Neptune, though, coming together, like they may be trying to use this energy to really hide, again, from the reality of this illusion breaking down, of this narrative breaking down, of the truth being seen. But all it is at this point is hiding. I don't think it's going to translate into a genuine escape. So that's interesting. And then we also have Mercury today on Friday at 25 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a double promise, reveals its inner and outer meaning. So again, this is more energy of things being exposed, secrets revealed, shady business being uncovered, the illusion being dispelled. A double promise reveals its inner and outer meaning while we have a gang of robbers in hiding. I just feel like things are about to start coming out, either in terms of shady things that we've been experiencing in dimensions of our own lives, or in terms of some type of collective narrative that's unfolding across the entirety of humanity somehow. I know that sounds like, you know, way over the top, but we have Jupiter and Neptune together, and that makes things way over the top. So I don't know. We'll see. And we also have Venus today at 4 degrees of Pisces, heavy traffic on a narrow isthmus linking two seaside properties. So again, this is bringing up like polarities and being stuck sort of in between one place and another place, with the nodes also being in effect today, and this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction and Pisces and these two possibilities. It's like, which way are we going to go? But it really seems like there's a heavy traffic on a narrow isthmus linking seaside highways. Like people are moving in the direction that they are trying to get to. They are moving to the side that resonates with them and that they're awakening to and being called to at this point in time. And I feel like a lot of people are really shifting in one way or another in this energy. And then, you know, of course, as I said, an inhabited island, the Sabian symbol where Jupiter and Neptune are occurring today. I feel like this is all about becoming our own inhabited island, becoming our own self-sustaining system, and that will be a beneficial way for us to navigate whatever challenges are being presented to us throughout the course of this year. So there we go. There's the energy for Friday. Now let's talk about the energy for Saturday, which to me is really like the powerhouse big time day of the weekend, because number one, we have the sun coming to the ERIS point on Saturday. And if you watched my video from the other day where I was talking about Mercury at the ERIS point, this is like the ultimate in like the break the chains energy. Like we're ready to fight for our truth and break ourselves free from anything that is like unjust or unright or unauthentic or untrue in any way. And we don't really like, zero F's basically are given about, you know, the consequences when we're dealing with the ERIS point and when we are in this freedom fighter energy, because that's what the ERIS point truly, the energy truly represents at it, you know, its core. And we have the sun discharging that energy on Saturday. So bang, bang. We also have a grand trine in water signs going on. And this is super, super, super powerful too. Between Jupiter and Jupiter and Neptune in the exact conjunction in Pisces, the south node in exact trine to those two planets, and the moon will be at the exact same degree in the sign of Cancer. All of these four, well, the south node is technically a point and not a planet, but we have the south node, Jupiter and Neptune, and the moon all in water signs. So first of all, we're dealing in a water sign trine. This is feeling, very strong feeling and emotional energy. Second of all, we're dealing with Jupiter and Neptune together. This again is either this very, very strong desire to connect and align with spirit and to gain spiritual wisdom and like infuse it into our lives and really embody it, or to really hide from reality and escape in some type of major ways. And the South Node, this is the past, you guys. This is karma. The South Node in Scorpio, this is the toxic cycles or the toxic loops from the past that we've been attached to, that we've been surrendering our power to out of any sense of lack of power internally or lack of recognition of the value that we hold internally or the worth that's truly inside of us or an ability to like take care of ourselves or to sustain ourselves. These are the toxic entwinements and enmeshments with other people and financial circumstances and situations, and the situations that we feel like we need in order to survive because we can't do it on our own in one way or another. But as a result, we end up surrendering our power and giving, everything away and just having to like mold our lives to whatever we need to do to appease the people that are providing these things for us or that are giving us this sense of safety and security when we may feel like, without that, we would just have nothing. But the truth is, that is what the truth that universe is trying to teach us right now is that we don't need that. What we actually need is to let go of that, to get rid of that, and to stand in our own power based in this authentic truth and the value that that represents and the capacity that that gives us to be the self-sustaining system and not need those attachments that have been keeping us out of our power. And so that is like a major aspect of what this energy is doing on Saturday, and especially with the Eris point energy there. And then, with the moon in Cancer as well, this is, what we need emotionally to feel safe and secure and nurtured and like filled up on like in our soul and like our heart space. With this grand water trine going on, what this is really doing is it's like through this spiritual connection or the spiritual knowledge or the spiritual awakening that we're having or this conscious awakening that we're having, what it's doing is it's filling us up on that internal soul-based level. It's giving us that sense of safety and security and stability inside that we need so that we can let go and release these toxic attachments from the past that have been keeping us out of the truth of our power. See how that is playing out? This is a grand trine. Trines facilitate things. They help things fall into place. They assist something in happening. And with it being these three things, this spiritual calling or connection or infusion or awakening is what is providing us the soul nurturing that we need to be able to release and let go and move on. And with the sun at the Eris point today as well, you guys, we are fighting for our truth. We are like inspired to take back our power. We don't care. We are over it. We are done with it. Like, no, we're moving on. Like, it's like we wake up and it's like, I don't know what happened, but I don't need that anymore because now I'm feeling this and this is what I'm being called to and this is what I'm interested in. And you know what? This actually feels so much better than that did that, I'm not really too concerned with what I have to say to get out of that situation because that's the direction that I'm going in because that is just where I'm at now. Like that's sort of how this energy could potentially be playing out. It is emotionally empowering us to overcome our demons, the South Node in Scorpio, the toxic attachments of the past. We are detoxing our soul in this energy through this infusion of like light and compassion and high heart energy and spiritual love. It's filling and feeding our soul with this spiritual connection and awakening that releases us from these toxic cycles of the past. And we are also with the Eris point being activated. Like this has me like all types of ways because these two things playing out together, like it is like magic. Like it is. It's like talking about that magic carpet of oriental imagery from yesterday. Like the way this plays out really is magical because on the one hand, not only are we having this opportunity to be filled so much with our spiritual connection that we are just like, bye, but we have the fighting willpower to do it. Like we're fighting for it and it's breaking through these illusions of the past that have been keeping us stagnant and holding us back. Really amazing, really beautiful, destroying these illusions that have enslaved us to some type of false narrative that has been preventing us from coming into the truth of our potential and being able to do this 2-2-2-year stuff that I always talk about and magnetize to ourselves, attract to ourselves this soul fulfillment, these connections, these relationships, these circumstances that are truly meant for us and as a result truly fill us up because we've rediscovered ourselves in this process and cut ourselves back off from anything that was keeping us from going through that in this year of this hero's journey. You see, it's just so magical how it's playing out. Let's talk about the Sabian symbols that we have going on for a minute on Saturday in the midst of this energy. Of course, the sun, 21 degrees of Aries, a boxer entering the ring. That is the Sabian symbol for the Eris point, and we are just ready to fight for what we believe in or whatever our goal or purpose is. And not only are we ready to fight, you guys, we are ready to win. And in this case, we are ready to win and gain victory over the limitations of the past, because we have this new perspective, this new viewpoint on things. I do want to say, though, be careful, because the flip side of this energy, this grand trine in water signs, if we're dealing from that escapism, is it could be just taking things way overboard in terms of indulging in substances and or opening up ourselves to these lower frequencies, or just hiding from things in such a way that keep us connected and attached to those things from the past that universe is really calling us to break free from right now. So, we want to be careful with that. But all in all, this is an amazing, amazing energetic blueprint that we have set up and unfolding on Saturday. So we have the boxer entering the ring. We have the earth on Saturday at 21 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is a Sunday crowd upon a beach. We have Mercury on Saturday at 28 degrees of Aries, a large disappointed audience. And then, I wanted to mention Mars as well, a garageman testing a car's battery with a hydrometer. So, these Sabian symbols, aside from the Eris point energy, well, including the Eris point energy, there may be some disappointing news coming through today as well. And maybe that plays into some of this that is happening or that is playing out. But some disappointing conversations or communications or interactions with others or news or something that we're learning, perhaps with Mercury at that degree, a large disappointed audience. But again, the narratives are crumbling. So, if we've been operating under one belief system based on one narrative, and suddenly we are made to discover that actually was never true the whole time, that could definitely create a sense of disappointment. So, along those lines, sort of what I'm thinking, what we might be dealing with in terms of that. Say, again, this aggressive energy, though, going on because of the Eris point, freedom fighter energy, revolutionary energy, and Mars at that degree about the garage man testing the car's battery with a hydrometer, testing our power, testing our charge, testing our battery, testing our will, testing our endurance, testing what we are willing to persevere through in the face of what. Mars also, ruling Aries, where the sun is today at the Eris point. Of course, that's why I'm saying that right now. But there's also these beach themes that we have going on. Standing in the light of the sun. We have the sun today, or the earth today on Saturday at a Sunday crowd upon a beach. And we also right now have Uranus at 14 degrees of Taurus at the beach. Children play and shellfish grope at the shore. And we also have the black moon right now at 30 degrees of Gemini, a parade of bathing beauties before large beach crowds. So there's like several references going on today to the beach. And we're talking about the earth, we're talking about Uranus, and we're talking about the black moon. Those three planets, that is also simultaneously, like the Uranus and the black moon, that is awakening to our shadows. That is a massive awakening in terms of, again, these subconscious programmings or these things, these karmic loops and these karmic patterns that we've been attached to. A lot of the same thing that the South Node in Scorpio is representing. And then the earth today, the position of what's happening on the ground, the beach, these three planets at degrees referencing the beach, standing in the sun, standing in the light of the day, the heat of the sun. The sun is also at the Eris point today. There could definitely be something that is getting light shown upon it, or we could be standing in the light of the truth and, coming from this awakening and awakening to our own shadows in a lot of ways. And these karmic loops or these toxic attachments or these subconscious programs that we're breaking free from in this energy as well. Very interesting. Also, Also, a couple more things. On Saturday, the moon is going to, after it makes this exact grand trine in water signs, it's also going to move on to the later degrees of Cancer and begin to form both a square to Mercury in Aries and an opposition to Pluto. Some powerful conversations, some destructive conversations, some powerful or like destructive messages, breakdowns in communication or messaging happening in a very powerful and transformative way, some very transformative or profound conversations, information, things we're hearing, things we're talking about, things we're learning, dialogues with others, interactions with others could definitely be going on as this day progresses as well. So gosh, overall on Saturday, this day is crazy. This day is huge. Huge opportunity for some real true soul and spiritual healing based on this alignment with the divine that fills us up in a way that helps us to release things that we have been surrendering our power to and that have been keeping us out of our authentic alignment, which empowers us to really speak our mind and fight for what we believe in and create like a revolution in our own lives. And simultaneously, as this day moves on, here come these very powerful, transformative conversations and interactions with people going on as well. So wow, like very intense, but not, because this grand trine, that is also like not, it's not like the square between the moon and Mercury and opposition to Pluto while the sun is at the Eris point. This is very like aggressive confrontational energy. But this grand trine in water signs with the sun or with Neptune and Jupiter and the moon and the south, no, this is not very confrontational energy. It's almost like we're like the peaceful warrior today. That's what it is. It's like we are the warrior of peace, like the peaceful warrior. It's almost like through a lack of engagement, we are gaining our power or something like that. I don't know, but that's just generally what's being indicated through like, it's almost like through a surrender in some type of a way to something. We are really fighting back somehow in some way. I don't know, but just with that grand trine in water, about like being receptive and peaceful and surrendering, and all this Mars Eris point like square energy that we have going on as well. Yeah, like the peaceful warrior somehow going on in the vibes. Let's talk about Sunday, you guys. So Sunday, April 10th. On Sunday, we are actually beginning the day in sort of like a void of energy. The moon's not going to be making aspect. After the moon opposes Pluto in the end of Cancer and Capricorn, the moon's going to move into Leo, and the moon's actually not going to be making an aspect to any other planets until it gets to 12 degrees of Leo, and well, actually around like 9-10 degrees, and starts picking up that square and begins to trine Chiron and square Uranus. So we're pretty much sort of in like a void of energy a little bit, a moon void, of course, as we begin the day on Sunday. And when the moon is void, like it's sort of unpredictable energy. Like things don't necessarily go according to plan. Like we might feel a little bit unsure about things, like not really knowing where things stand, or just like up in the air, not really, sure about what's going on or like how the cards are going to fall. Perhaps as we begin the day, but as the day goes on and we head towards like later in the day in the evening, and the moon moves into aspect with Uranus and Chiron, a trine with Chiron this time, a square with Uranus. Again, this is going to be bringing up some awakening and healing energy. But to begin the day, yeah, we may also, though, I do feel like we're going to have a little bit more optimistic attitude, even though we may not exactly be sure about how things are going to play out or turn out as we begin the day on Sunday. We kind of still, I feel like we're going to be feeling like we're winning, or we're having some type of victory in some type of a way. The moon is going to be in Leo, which is, feeling sort of on top of things and sort of positive and optimistic about things. And the sun is going to be at 22 degrees of Aries on Sunday. And that Sabian symbol is the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. So, to start the day, like I said, even though we may not really be sure how things are going to transpire and whatever has gone on, I feel like we are sort of going to be feeling kind of optimistic and still standing on that beach, sort of with the moon in Leo, sort of standing under the sun, standing in the light, and like kind of having faith that we are moving in the direction towards these fulfilled desires. Again, the moon is in Leo, right? Ruled by the sun, and it's the sun that is at that degree. So, I feel like whatever is happening, whatever has happened, whatever we've come to, whatever we've moved on from, finally walked away from, stood in our power, resisted, fought back against, whatever revolution we've started in our own lives, I feel like we are being told, guided by universe on Sunday, that despite the fact of maybe not being able to see how things are going to go at this point in time, we are still feeling pretty confident that we are heading in the right direction towards fulfilling our desires in one way or another. And also this could be bringing up themes of like nurturing and replenishing the inner child and our ability to truly be free to move down this new path to all the gate of the garden of all fulfilled desires. We have two symbols today talking specifically about birds and children, which is interesting as well. We have the earth at 22 degrees of Libra on Sunday. That Sabian symbol is a child giving birds a drink at a fountain. And we also have Mercury at 30 degrees of Aries on Sunday. You guys, Mercury is already done with Aries. Mercury is like flying through the sky right now. Mercury was in Aries for like 15 days or something like that. We are about on Monday to really have some more switch ups as Mercury enters Taurus, and this is going to change some mental energy, some mental vibes. This is calm things down a little bit too. But Mercury 30 Aries, a duck pond and its young brood. So there's two Mercury, what's going on with our mind today, and also position of things on the ground, talking about children and birds, or children birds, young birds. So in some aspect, I do feel like this could also be talking about, and with the moon in Leo as well, also ruling like the inner child and the heart and children generally, I feel like nurturing and replenishing the inner child, and again, birds, our ability to really be free to go down this new direction towards this gate of all fulfilled desires that we may have realized over the past couple days we have been holding ourselves back from one reason or another, and decided to sort of rebel against that, fight back against it, break ourselves free from any limiting situations, and head towards that gate, which is synonymous with actually this 222 year that we are in right now, and the age of Aquarius's progression is unfolding, and we are energetically being pulled towards. It all makes sense. It all fits together. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, as the day goes on though, as I said, that moon in Leo will move into square with Uranus. When the moon squares Uranus, this can bring up some emotional upsets. This is like shocks, surprises, things happening out of the blue, like things like upsetting the peace or the internal peace or the status quo somehow. But it's also happening in a trine with Chiron. The trine, these aspects facilitate things and help things fall into place. And Chiron wants to bring us healing. It wants to, do it through an educational process of helping us to learn about our wounds and what's happened to us so that we can really heal ourselves, because that is where the true healing comes from. But Uranus is also the great awakening planet. We're heading into the age of Aquarius. This is like a period of great awakening. Uranus, very active in effect right now, especially Jupiter and Neptune together as well. Very awakening situation. The North Node is actually going to be moving into a conjunction with Uranus this year, and that is going to be profound. Another year of great awakening. Last year we had Saturn and Uranus as a major aspect of the entire year. Breaking free from the old paradigm as we head in a revolutionary new direction. And this year, with the North Node coming into conjunction with Uranus, we are aligning with and really moving forward down this new path associated with these Aquarian archetypes and frequencies. But anyways, back to the specific transit that we're talking about today. Uranus ruling awakening, Chiron ruling the hero's journey, the moon ruling our emotions, what's going on inside of us, our internal environment, and also the inner child being in the sign of Leo, awakening to the truth of what our heart and soul and inner child needs to heal so that we can come into this process of self-mastery, as this year in the conjunction to Chiron is also trying to bring us to, so that we can be much more conscious creators of our experience as we head into this age of Aquarius. Because in the age of self-knowledge, self-empowerment, and self-mastery, that's truly what is required of us. But emotional upsets, surprises, shocks could be going on as we head through the day on Sunday, but this is to help us learn, heal, grow, and gain a sense of mastery over our circumstances, so that we can do things differently going forward. So that is something that we may be dealing with as the energy plays out on Sunday as well. And that's what I have to say for Sunday. So, I mean, gosh, overall, you guys, I'm just like, this weekend is like magic to me. And it starts out with the sun being at the magic carpet of Oriental imagery on Friday. I mean, I guess just to summarize, as if this video isn't long enough already, we begin the official Jupiter and Neptune conjunction. We've got that moon, it's in trine to the south node, and then we have the moon squaring Chiron, coming into the square with the sun. These wounds that we may be being pushed to discover or encounter or deal with being triggered, pushing us to connect to this higher force, this spiritual connection, this higher knowing. And then as we move into the energy on Saturday, this spiritual knowing, this spiritual connection, this spiritual awakening that we may have been pushed to through this Chiron energy being activated on Friday is really helping us to sort of turn the page in our lives on an emotional level, and be so inspired and filled up from what we are aligning with spiritually right now, that we are able to disconnect and let go from things that have been keeping us out of our power in the past. And this is actually helping us to stand in our power and to take action. The Aries, the ERIS point, Mars, all the planets in Aries, to free ourselves from these situations and these circumstances that maybe we've been surrendering to. And that process in and of itself may be bringing up some very powerful and transformative interactions, conversations with people. And as we move into the energy on Sunday, I feel like we're still going to be feeling like we're headed in the right direction and we did the right things, and we are headed along a path that is actually much more in alignment with what can truly fill us up and keep us filled up on that emotional level, and awakening simultaneously as we go through the day on Sunday to these additional truths of what we really need at this point in the context of the spiritual connection that we're coming to really heal our heart, our soul, and our inner child, so that we can come back into this state of wholeness, essentially, and be able to be a more conscious creator in our experience moving forward. So there's my summary. There's my report. This is a very long one today. Let's grab a synchronicity card. I am not doing the tarot today, you guys, because honestly, I've been talking for too long already, and I didn't even pull tarot cards this morning because I had a feeling it was going to be a long one. We'll get back into the tarot on Monday, but I definitely do want to grab a synchronicity card for us just to see, here it is, what we need to know and what can help us additionally as we are going through this weekend. And oh my God, this is so true with this grand trine that we have going on. This grand trine that we have going on Saturday, because with Jupiter and Neptune together, like I said, empathy, compassion, a desire to help and serve is like way over the top. Look what this card says. Don't help too much. Yes. Okay. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Luke 11:42. It's fine and good to help another, but do not leave undone the job of giving him the wisdom to become aware of the powers of his mind. Do not fail to teach him that with knowledge of the power of God, he will never do without a roof over his head, a meal, or any other thing that he desires when he learns to use the power of his mind. Help given too easily robs one of his self-respect. The best way to help another is to teach him to stand on his own 2 feet. You guys, this is so Chiron. Oh my God. Teach another of God and the source of all supply, and Jupiter and Neptune together. Then you will have given the best help possible. Teach him to look to God for help. this could not be more perfect. It's like just the magical cherry on top. I know that this is exactly the message that is so relevant right now, and that we really need to be walking with, embracing, and affirming as we go through. And that is what this is calling us towards, to recognize the spiritual connection, these spiritual laws, to cultivate this spiritual connection, and as a result, to be filled up and to trust with, and to have this security and this faith that we can let go of these things of the past and know that, you know, we are truly being guided in the right direction going forward, and not overly be assisting and serving and helping to other people in this energy, even though we really may be called to. Because remember, this is a year based on Chiron. This is about helping ourselves. This is the hero's journey. The only way that we can come to that place is going through that process on our own. And the point of the process, the point of the hero's journey, we become this guiding light and this example to others going down a similar path, but we teach them through our example. We can't do it for them. We can only shine the light so that they can go through that same journey and come to that same place in and of themselves on their own. I'm in love with this card right now, you guys. I feel like that's so amazing. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope you guys liked this video. I know it was a lot, but we just have really oh, it's crazy energy this weekend. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I really love your comments. I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to responding to them in a few days. I've just been in my other life outside of this Aubrey Stars, I've been super overwhelmed and very, very, very busy, and I haven't been I'm going to get to it very soon, and I read every single one of them, and I love you, and I will write you guys back, I promise. And please keep leaving me comments, because I really love knowing how these energies go for you, how they work out. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. And you guys are my people. I really, really love you. I also have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, an Instagram, a TikTok, and a website. Those are in my description box below if you're interested in any of that. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. We're going to have some shifts and vibes going on. Mercury's moving into Taurus. This should definitely take the tension, calm things down, put it that way, calm things down a little bit. And there's going to be a lot to talk about, I'm sure, after this big weekend of energy that we just had playing out. So come back with me. I'll be here. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's amazing. I'll see you later. Bye.